Ladies and gentlemen, today we witness a moment that has captured the attention of millions across the nation. Former President Barack Obama, known for his calm demeanor, eloquence, and powerful messaging, has sent out a statement that has left the political world in shock. His words are not just directed at any political rival. They are aimed squarely at former President Donald Trump, and the message carries implications far beyond party lines. In his statement, Obama spoke with authority, reason, and a sense of urgency. He reminded Americans of the values that underpin the nation, the importance of democracy, and the responsibility of leaders to prioritize the people over politics. While the message was firm, it was also grounded in hope and a call for unity, emphasizing that even in disagreement, the nation must hold on to its democratic principles. This is not just a political statement, it is a wake-up call. Obama highlighted critical issues, from truth in governance to the need for responsible leadership. Millions are discussing it, and the shockwave is being felt across media platforms, social media, and dinner tables nationwide. Let's break down the 6 key points from Obama's message that made the nation sit up and take notice. Barack Obama's first and most striking point revolves around the defense of truth and the critical role that facts play in a functioning democracy. He made it clear that leadership is not simply about charisma, popularity, or the ability to make bold statements. It is about grounding every decision, every public statement, and every policy action in reality. According to Obama, when leaders distort facts, ignore evidence, or spread misinformation, they are not merely making political mistakes. They are eroding the very foundation of public trust. Obama reminded the nation that facts are not a matter of opinion. They are the shared reality that holds society together. A leader who disregards facts risks creating confusion, division, and fear among the population. He highlighted that the consequences of ignoring truth are far-reaching, from mismanaged policies to public distrust in critical institutions such as the government, the press, and the judiciary. By emphasizing the importance of accountability to facts, Obama reinforced that citizens have the right to know the truth, especially when the stakes involve national security, economic stability, and public welfare. Moreover, he spoke about the ripple effect that misinformation can have, not only on policy but on culture, education, and the social fabric. A society where truth is devalued becomes vulnerable to manipulation, division, and polarization. Obama's point was clear: defending the truth is not a political tactic. It is a moral obligation and the cornerstone of leadership. He called on leaders to lead with honesty, to acknowledge reality even when it is uncomfortable, and to respect the intelligence of the people they serve. He also framed truth as a unifying force. When a leader prioritizes facts, they create common ground on which people from all walks of life can make informed decisions, debate policies constructively, and participate meaningfully in democracy. Conversely, when truth is sidelined, misinformation becomes a weapon that deepens societal divides. Through this point, Obama was signaling that the integrity of the nation depends on a commitment to truth, a principle that every leader, regardless of party affiliation, must uphold. Barack Obama's second point centers on the immense responsibility that rests on the shoulders of anyone who holds public office, particularly the President of the United States. He emphasized that leadership is not a position to be wielded for personal gain, political advantage, or ego. It is a solemn duty to serve the people who put their trust in you. Every policy decision, every public statement, and every action taken by a leader directly impacts millions of lives, shaping the economy, the healthcare system, education, national security, and the social well-being of the nation. Obama's message made it clear that the weight of these responsibilities should never be underestimated or treated lightly. He reminded leaders that their authority is granted by the people, and with that authority comes accountability. Citizens expect their leaders to make decisions based on the long-term good of the nation, not on short-term political gains or personal vendettas. Obama stressed that when leaders prioritize their own ambitions over public welfare, it erodes trust, breeds cynicism, and undermines the very principles of democracy. He painted a vivid picture of the consequences. When responsibility is neglected, critical infrastructure may falter, public programs may fail, and the vulnerable segments of society may bear the brunt of poor governance. Furthermore, Obama spoke about the moral dimension of leadership. He argued that responsibility toward the people is not just a legal or political obligation. It is a moral imperative. Every choice made by a leader should reflect empathy, fairness, and a commitment to improving the lives of all citizens, not just a select few. He highlighted that effective leadership requires foresight, careful deliberation, and the courage to make tough decisions that serve the greater good, even if they are unpopular or politically inconvenient. In addition, Obama underscored the idea that leadership is about service, not dominance. True leaders understand that their role is to empower others, protect the interests of the public, and uphold the trust that has been placed in them. When this responsibility is embraced fully, it strengthens the bond between the government and its people, ensuring that democracy functions effectively. When it is ignored or abused, the consequences can ripple across generations, affecting the nation's stability, prosperity, and global reputation. Through this point, Obama sent a clear message: the American people deserve leaders who recognize the gravity of their position, who act with integrity, and who never lose sight of their duty to serve, protect, and uplift the nation. Barack Obama's third point centers on the critical need for unity in a nation that has become increasingly divided along political, social, and cultural lines. He highlighted that the strength of the United States has always been rooted in its ability to bring together diverse voices, perspectives, and communities to work toward common goals. When division and discord take precedence over collaboration and understanding, the nation becomes vulnerable, not only politically but also socially, economically, and morally. Obama's message was a powerful reminder that leadership should always strive to build bridges rather than walls, to foster dialogue rather than deepen polarization. He stressed that unity does not mean uniformity. In a democratic society, differences of opinion, ideology, and policy are natural and even necessary. However, these differences must be approached with respect, civility, and a commitment to the nation's shared values. Obama cautioned that when leaders exploit divisions for political gain, they weaken the social fabric and erode the public's trust in institutions. Such actions can inflame tensions, create hostility between communities, and undermine the sense of common purpose that binds the country together. Moreover, Obama emphasized that unity is essential for effective governance. When citizens and leaders are able to find common ground, the nation can respond more efficiently to crises, implement policies that benefit all Americans, and maintain its position as a global leader. He pointed out that history has repeatedly shown that countries that fail to prioritize unity often struggle to overcome challenges, whether economic, social, or international. By contrast, nations that embrace collaboration and solidarity tend to be more resilient, adaptable, and capable of achieving progress. He also framed unity as a moral responsibility. Leaders are entrusted with the task of guiding not just policy, but also public sentiment. By promoting inclusion, respect, and empathy, leaders can reduce the harmful effects of division, such as discrimination, violence, and social unrest. Obama reminded the nation that unity is not the absence of disagreement. It is the ability to navigate differences with integrity and a commitment to the greater good. Furthermore, Obama highlighted that unity strengthens democracy itself. A divided populace is more susceptible to manipulation, misinformation, and erosion of democratic norms. When citizens feel connected, informed, and heard, they are more likely to participate in governance, hold leaders accountable, and support institutions that protect their rights and freedoms. Through this point, Obama sent a clear message: leadership must prioritize unity as a strategic, ethical, and patriotic imperative, because a nation that stands together can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and create a future that benefits all its people. Barack Obama's fourth point focuses on the essential role that democratic institutions play in maintaining the stability, fairness, and credibility of a nation. He emphasized that the presidency, the judiciary, the legislature, and the free press are not merely symbols. They are the structural pillars that uphold the principles of democracy. These institutions exist to ensure checks and balances, and protect individual freedoms, and maintain accountability at every level of government. Obama warned that when leaders attack, discredit, or undermine these institutions, they threaten not just their credibility, but the very foundation of democratic governance itself. He pointed out that institutions are deliberately designed to operate independently, providing safeguards against abuse of power and arbitrary decision-making. A healthy democracy depends on this independence, and any attempt to weaken it can lead to long-term damage that affects generations. Obama stressed that attacks on institutions, whether through undermining judicial decisions, delegitimizing the press, or politicizing governmental agencies, create a climate of uncertainty, mistrust, and instability. Citizens begin to question the legitimacy of laws, policies, and even elections, which can lead to division, civil unrest, and disengagement from civic life. Furthermore, Obama highlighted the dangers of normalizing attacks on institutions. When leaders continuously challenge the credibility of democratic bodies for political gain, it erodes public confidence and sets a precedent that future leaders may follow. He argued that democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires constant protection, vigilance, and respect. Citizens, as well as leaders, must recognize that the strength of the nation is inseparable from the strength of its institutions. Obama also underscored the ethical responsibility of leaders in this regard. A leader's duty is not only to wield power, but to preserve and strengthen the structures that allow power to function responsibly. Undermining institutions for short-term advantage may yield temporary political wins, but it risks long-term harm to the nation's integrity, economy, social cohesion, and international standing. Through this point, Obama reminded the public and leaders alike that safeguarding democratic institutions is both a strategic necessity and a moral imperative. He further illustrated that respect for institutions is linked to the broader concept of rule of law. When leaders act as if they are above the law or seek to manipulate institutions for personal or political purposes, it diminishes the principle that no one is above accountability. Obama warned that democracy thrives when institutions are strong, independent, and respected, and weakens when they are disregarded or undermined. This warning was not just about current political disputes. It was a timeless call to protect the integrity, fairness, and resilience of democracy itself. Barack Obama's fifth point highlights the critical importance of ethical leadership in sustaining a healthy democracy and fostering public trust. He emphasized that leadership is not merely about holding power, winning elections, or advancing political agendas. It is fundamentally about acting with integrity, honesty, and moral responsibility. According to Obama, leaders must serve as role models, setting a standard for behavior that inspires respect, trust, and confidence among the people they serve. Ethical leadership is not optional. It is the cornerstone of legitimacy and long-term stability in governance. Obama pointed out that ethics in leadership goes beyond following laws or regulations. It encompasses the values, principles, and moral compass that guide a leader's decisions, especially when faced with difficult choices or pressures from various interests. He stressed that leaders who compromise ethical standards for personal gain, political advantage, or convenience ultimately weaken the moral fabric of society and erode public trust. Citizens look to their leaders not just for policies, but for guidance, honesty, and fairness, and any breach of ethical responsibility can have ripple effects that undermine confidence in governance as a whole. Furthermore, Obama highlighted the connection between ethical leadership and accountability. A truly ethical leader accepts responsibility for their actions, acknowledges mistakes, and acts transparently to correct them. This contrasts sharply with leaders who deflect blame, manipulate facts, or exploit positions of power to shield themselves from scrutiny. By emphasizing accountability, Obama underscored that ethics is not just about personal virtue. It is about creating systems of governance where honesty, fairness, and integrity are prioritized over opportunism and self-interest. He also discussed the broader societal impact of ethical leadership. When leaders act with integrity, they encourage a culture of respect, civility, and cooperation throughout society. Citizens are more likely to engage constructively in democracy, trust public institutions, and work together toward common goals. Conversely, when leaders abandon ethical principles, they normalize corruption, dishonesty, and exploitation, setting dangerous precedents that weaken the moral foundations of the nation. Obama framed ethical leadership as a long-term investment in the health of the nation. Policies may come and go, but the values and standards set by leaders have a lasting influence on the character of the country, the functioning of its institutions, and the behavior of future leaders. By calling for ethical leadership, he reminded the public that the quality of governance and the resilience of democracy depends on the moral choices made at the highest levels of power. Finally, Obama connected ethics with public service, arguing that leadership should always be about serving the greater good rather than personal ambition. True leaders act not for applause or advantage, but to improve the lives of the people, protect democratic principles, and leave a legacy of trust, respect, and justice. Through this point, he made it clear that ethical leadership is essential for the health, credibility, and progress of the nation. Barack Obama's sixth and final key point centers on the idea of hope as a driving force for progress and resilience in the nation. He emphasized that even in moments of political tension, social division, or national uncertainty, hope remains a powerful tool that can inspire action, motivate citizens, and guide leaders towards solutions that benefit all Americans. According to Obama, hope is not naive optimism. It is a deliberate choice to believe in the capacity of people, institutions, and democracy itself to overcome challenges, correct mistakes, and build a better future. He reminded the nation that hope has always been a cornerstone of American identity. From the founding principles of freedom and equality to landmark movements for civil rights, education, and social justice, progress has been achieved because people refuse to give in to despair or cynicism. Obama stressed that leaders have a responsibility to nurture this hope by demonstrating that solutions are possible, that actions matter, and that every citizen has a role to play in shaping the future. He framed hope as both inspirational and practical. It fuels citizen engagement, encourages accountability, and strengthens trust in democratic processes. Moreover, Obama highlighted that hope is closely tied to resilience. Even when the nation faces setbacks, divisions, or crises, hope allows citizens and leaders to focus on solutions rather than blame. It encourages constructive dialogue, collaboration, and innovation, qualities that are essential for addressing complex challenges such as economic inequality, healthcare, climate change, and national security. By reminding people that the future can be shaped through collective effort, he reinforced the idea that democracy is not static. It thrives when citizens actively participate and hold leaders accountable. Obama also framed hope as an ethical and moral imperative for leadership. Leaders are called not only to manage crises, but to instill confidence and belief in the potential for progress. By expressing faith in the nation's capacity for improvement, they can unite citizens around common goals, encourage responsible civic behavior, and inspire a sense of shared purpose. He emphasized that hope is contagious when leaders demonstrate a commitment to justice, truth, and accountability. Citizens are more likely to mirror those values in their communities and daily lives. Furthermore, Obama connected hope with the concept of long-term vision. He urged leaders and citizens alike to think beyond immediate gains or short-term victories and to invest in policies and actions that secure a better future for the next generation. Hope motivates forward-thinking decision-making, sustainable solutions, and investments in education, infrastructure, innovation, and social welfare that benefit not just the present, but decades to come. Through this point, Obama reminded the nation that no matter how challenging current circumstances may seem, the promise of a brighter, more inclusive, and resilient future is always within reach. Hope is not passive. It requires effort, responsibility, and engagement. But it is the essential force that enables a nation to heal, unite, and progress. By emphasizing hope, Obama left a message of empowerment. The future is not predetermined, and together, citizens and leaders can shape it for the better. In closing, Barack Obama's message is more than a critique. It is a call to action, a reminder, and a source of inspiration. He challenges leaders to act with integrity, prioritize the truth, uphold democratic institutions, and serve the people with accountability and ethics. At the same time, he reminds all of us, the citizens, the voters, the participants in this great democracy, that our role is just as crucial. Hope, unity, and responsibility are not abstract ideals, they are the tools with which we can shape the future. The choices we make, the standards we demand from our leaders, and the values we uphold as a society will determine the strength, resilience, and integrity of our nation. This message is a wake-up call and a beacon of possibility. It reminds us that, no matter the challenges, we have the power to protect democracy, to demand ethical leadership, and to work toward a nation that lives up to its highest ideals. As we reflect on Obama's words, let us carry them forward, not just as observers, but as active participants in building a future defined by truth, justice, unity, and hope. The nation may be tested, but with vigilance, courage, and collective effort, we can ensure that it not only survives, but thrives for generations to come.